Hello, my friends, and welcome to beautiful, historic Tazewell, Virginia. We are here at my newest listing, this beautiful Victorian store building behind us, built in 1850. We're going to take a look around and explore the property, and I'm going to explain to you why you need to own a store building on Main Street in Tazewell, Virginia. So join me. I'm Daniel Shue, the Old House Agent. I'm a real estate agent, and I specialize in old and historic homes in Southwest Virginia and Northeast Tennessee. I've dedicated my career to preserving these places while helping others discover the joy of owning a piece of our region's past. On this channel, you'll find restoration journeys, history, and honest insight into what it truly takes to bring old houses back to life. And I'm grateful to have you along for the adventure. There's something about old downtown buildings that modern construction simply cannot replicate. Maybe it's the proportions, the tall storefront windows, those worn thresholds, the sense that thousands of people have passed through the same door over generations. Or maybe it's because places like this were built at a time when Main Street was the center of everyday life. This is 145 Main Street in Tazewell, Virginia. Said to date to around 1850, this historic Italianate storefront stands as part of the architectural fabric that gives this town its identity. Once home to the local newspaper office, the wood siding, the Victorian trim work, the decorative brackets under the roofline, every detail reminds you that this building was meant to be noticed. And truly, it still is. Step inside and the feeling changes from historic to surprisingly refined. The main level has been beautifully renovated with incredible tin ceilings overhead. All original. One of those rare features that immediately transforms a commercial space into something memorable. The current layout functions as a single storefront today, but it could easily become two distinct commercial spaces once again. So you kind of get a 2-for-1 deal here. You have the storefront on Main Street, and then when you turn down Marion Street, the building is actually L-shaped. So you have another storefront, which is 117, a whole separate address on Marion Street. So that actually could allow you to have two different businesses in the same building, which is really, really neat. Upstairs, the building settles into a quieter rhythm. A 2-bedroom apartment occupies the second floor, creating that classic old town arrangement that once defined communities all across America. Business below, life above. Whether used as a residence, rental, or additional income stream, it gives the property a sense of continuity that feels increasingly difficult to find. In total, the building offers 2,600 square feet, multiple income streams, and something many historic downtown buildings lack entirely: 2 dedicated parking spaces. But what may surprise people most is the town of Tazewell itself. This is one of those towns that still feels connected to the past in all the right ways. The pace is slower here, the storefronts still matter, people still walk Main Street, and buildings like this are not treated as disposable relics, but as part of the town's living history. for the investor, preservation-minded buyer, or simply someone who understands the value of owning a piece of authentic small-town America. This is the kind of opportunity that rarely comes along fully intact. An early store building in town, later a newspaper office, and then a more modern commercial space later. This building is still telling its story. Wouldn't you like to be part of it? Tazewell itself feels like something preserved from another era. Home to only a few thousand residents, this mountain town has quietly become one of Southwest Virginia's hidden gems. Surrounded by dramatic Appalachian scenery, Tazewell sits near the famous Back of the Dragon, a 32-mile mountain drive with more than 400 curves that wind through some of the most breathtaking terrain in the region. Riders and travelers come from across the country to experience it, especially during the warmer months when the streets fill with motorcycles, visitors, and the steady rhythm of small-town life. And then there's the mountains themselves. This area is often referred to as God's thumbprint. Ridges folding into valleys, morning fog settling between the hills, and winding roads that seem to disappear into the horizon. It is the kind of place that reminds you of how beautiful and dramatic Appalachia can be, when towns still grow naturally out of the landscape around them. Tazewell is not trying to become something else. That may be its greatest strength. Main Street still matters here. Historic buildings are still part of daily life. And places like this continue to carry both memory and purpose forward into another generation. Thank you so much for watching. If you love old houses as much as I do, then I invite you to follow along on all my platforms. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, you can follow along on Facebook for daily posts, and for a deep dive into history and real estate, you can subscribe to my newsletter. At theoldhouseagent.com, you're going to find valuable resources, regional history about Southwest Virginia and Northeast Tennessee, plus all my current listings. All these likes, shares, and subscriptions to these videos help keep the stories of these places alive. I'm Daniel Shue, the Old House Agent, and I'll see you on the next video.